Well, Diana, looking at that, do you do all your own stunts? Did you do all your own stunts when you were doing the Avengers?
No, I didn't. I couldn't. Some of them were too extraordinary.
Few television moments have sparked as much mystery as the infamous scene that abruptly ended the Avengers, one of Britain's most stylish spy dramas. What could have happened in a show known for wit and daring that pushed audiences and networks too far? Behind the glamour and gadgetry, creative risks sometimes crossed lines that broadcasters weren't ready to accept. This story reveals how a groundbreaking series with bold storytelling and strong female leads collided with tightening television standards, leaving behind a controversy that still fascinates fans today. The controversial scene introduced. In the late 1960s, the Avengers stood at a crossroads between its artistic boldness and growing external pressures. Among its many stylish episodes, one particular scene emerged as a flashpoint, controversial enough to provoke censorship and accelerate the show's decline. This moment wasn't just a bump in the road. It struck a nerve with broadcasters and audiences, challenging what was deemed acceptable for primetime television during that period. Though the exact nature of the scene remains shrouded in mystery, its impact was immediate and profound. Reports from the time described the scene as unusually dark and unsettling, even by the Avengers' evolving standards. Unlike the show's usual playful espionage and campy intrigue, this installment veered into territory that some considered psychologically cruel or politically sensitive. Whispers hinted at a degree of menace and realism that went far beyond the usual stylized fight sequences and quirky villains. The episode touched on themes that made network executives uneasy, possibly crossing a boundary that British television had yet to fully navigate. The reaction was swift. Independent television, which had long supported the program through its tonal shifts, suddenly faced pressure from advertisers, regulatory bodies, and wary viewers. Censorship tightened, and this single scene was deemed a liability too great to withstand. The decision was made to pull the episode before it could be widely broadcast, and it was quickly removed from reruns and syndication packages. Rumors suggest a handful of regional broadcasts slipped through, but no official copies were preserved for public viewing. Many questions remain unanswered. Was the scene violent beyond what was usual, or did it contain subtext that clashed with prevailing cultural norms? Some speculate that it commented on sensitive political issues, striking a nerve during a tense era in British history. Others recall it as a moment that brought uncomfortable realism into a show best known for its wit and style. Whatever the truth, the episode became a forbidden fragment of television lore, its content and fate fueling speculation decades later. The controversy deepened existing doubts about the show's direction. Critics who had already questioned the creative consistency after the departure of key cast members used the incident as evidence of the series' overreach. The once celebrated blend of charm, intelligence, and subtle satire seemed overshadowed by attempts at shock or sensationalism. For some, the scene symbolized a loss of the unique identity that made the Avengers beloved. Faced with dwindling audiences and rising backlash, the show's creators grappled with the fallout. The controversy hastened the erosion of network confidence and loosened advertisers' support. The fragile balance between innovative storytelling and broadcast standards had been broken, and the consequences were severe. With the show's reputation in question, its cancellation in 1969 seemed inevitable. The infamous scene became more than just a broadcast blemish. It marked a turning point in how British television grappled with content boundaries and censorship. The legacy of this lost episode lingers as a reminder of the tensions between creative freedom and societal tolerance. It also underscores the challenges that the Avengers faced in pushing norms while maintaining mainstream appeal. Though the full details of the scene may never be publicly revealed, its role in sealing the show's fate has secured its place in television history. It remains a symbol of the risks taken by one of Britain's most iconic series, a moment when artistic ambition confronted the limits of its time. The story of this scene invites us to look beyond surface glamour and consider the deeper struggles behind classic television. As the Avengers wrestled with controversy, the seeds of its earlier transformation and rise were already sown in its origin story, setting the stage for the complexities that would follow. Origins of the Avengers. The Avengers began life far from the slick spy show that audiences came to adore. Premiering on January 7, 1961, initially followed a more conventional crime drama format with Dr. David Keel, played by Ian Hendry, as the lead. Keel was a straightforward medical doctor driven by justice, investigating the slaying of his fiancée. The early episodes were grounded and procedural, much like other detective shows of the day, with mystery and suspense, but little of the flair that would later define the series. John Steed, who Patrick Macnee played, first appeared as a minor character who depicted an obscure intelligence agent who wore a trench coat and maintained a mysterious presence. The character served mainly as Keel's sidekick instead of being the main character of the story. The first season established its main character through the combination of Keel's sincere determination and Steed's composed, humoristic approach to situations. The two performers displayed romantic chemistry with each other, while the series maintained a conventional storytelling approach. The first season faced difficulties when Ian Hendry left the show after one season because of contractual disputes. The sudden departure of Ian Hendry required the production team to completely transform their creative process. The show needed a new direction after its main actor departed. Thus, John Steed became the new main character. The show required a new identity to continue existing, and Steed's character evolution provided the ideal solution. The Avengers changed from a standard crime narrative through its transformation into a new creative work, which combined espionage elements with sophisticated, stylish action. Steed changed his appearance from a trench coat to tailored suits, which he combined with bowler hats and his unique umbrella. The character changed from being an unknown part of the story to being a charming spy who had his own special way of speaking and showing humor. The character transformation established a fundamental base that developed into the adventurous and fun style that audiences later associated with the show. The creators of the show used this opportunity to establish a new definition for their show through their combination of British comedic elements with sophisticated espionage content. Steed's new persona became the series' backbone, part heroic, part eccentric, and entirely memorable. The Avengers achieved their goal when they adopted this new storytelling approach, which allowed them to create more imaginative and surreal narratives. The show introduced new characters to match Steed's central role, starting with Kathy Gale, who Honor Blackman portrayed. Gale's character was a revelation. Strong, intelligent, and highly skilled in combat, she became one of the first empowered female protagonists who emerged as a partner with equal intellectual and physical abilities to Steed in British television. The show established a new partnership between the two characters, which created a new era for the series by fighting against traditional gender roles while increasing the complexity of their relationship. The Avengers underwent a major transformation after its first season, which took the series in a completely new direction. The program established new standards for British television shows through its combination of innovative content and stylish presentation. The show developed a following that led to worldwide success because of its charming characters, witty writing, and unique approach to undercover operations. This birth and rebirth of the Avengers offer essential context for understanding the show's later challenges and the significance of the controversial moments that would follow. The journey from crime procedural to iconic spy thriller speaks to the ambition that fueled the series. Evolution of John Steed. John Steed's character arc is at the heart of the Avengers' evolution, symbolizing both its creative breakthroughs and challenges. Initially, a secondary figure, Steed's transition into the suave, bowler-hatted gentleman spy was a pivotal moment that reshaped the show's identity. This reinvention branded Steed as a unique television icon, an embodiment of British cool with charm, wit, and an understated but deadly competence. Macnee's portrayal brought a layered characterization to Steed, blending sophistication with an offbeat eccentricity. Gone was the trenchcoat operative of Season 1. In its place stood a man who was as comfortable wielding an umbrella as he was handling a gadget or engaging in verbal sparring. This visual and tonal shift distinguished the Avengers from other genres of the day and became a signature hallmark of the series. Steed's presence was magnetic, embodying both tradition and modernity. His style, a tailored suit with a bowler hat, evoked English gentlemanliness, while his irreverent attitude and quick wit hinted at something more contemporary and subversive. He was able to navigate complex espionage plots with a playful air, inviting audiences into a world that was thrilling yet accessible. The transformation of Steed also influenced the show's storytelling, allowing for more surreal, imaginative narratives. His character became a bridge between the grounded reality of spy work and the increasingly stylized, sometimes fantastical direction the series took. This fluidity was key in keeping the show fresh and engaging over multiple seasons. The show became successful because the two main lead actors created their iconic partnership through their growing friendship, which built their relationship with each other. Steed developed his relationships with both Kathy Gale and Emma Peel, who were their main female leads, through his performance of their equal intellectual capacity with their equal physical abilities. The three relationships between Steed and his partners produced an entertaining show because they combined his attractive personality with his powerful ability and his intelligent satellite in his role. Steed faced obstacles during his process of development. The transition required McNee to create a perfect combination between his charming personality and his active performance, which established the series' enduring appeal. He became a linchpin around which the series could build, allowing the Avengers to explore bold ideas while maintaining its core personality. His character development captured the social transformations of his time because he represented the evolving norms of masculine behavior, high-class fashion, and conventional gender expectations. Steed's fashion choices and his behavior patterns established him as a self-assured person who possessed intellectual abilities through his humorous attributes, which connected with the 1960s audience who experienced major industrial changes. The character of John Steed continues to exist as a benchmark for groundbreaking character development in television. His journey from secondary operator to cultural icon illustrates how reinvention can salvage and elevate a series. Steed's influence reaches far beyond his era, inspiring countless portrayals of the gentleman spy in popular culture. As Steed became the face of the Avengers, the show's embrace of dynamic female leads further enhanced its groundbreaking reputation and set the stage for lasting impact. Powerful female leads. One of the most groundbreaking aspects of the Avengers was its portrayal of strong, intelligent female characters who stood as equals to the male lead. Starting in 1962, Honor Blackman's Kathy Gale reshaped what television audiences expected from women on screen. Gale was not a typical damsel, but a skilled anthropologist and a proficient martial artist, confident in both intellect and physicality. Her presence challenged the norms of early 1960s television, where female characters were often relegated to secondary or purely decorative roles. Kathy Gale's wardrobe, particularly the iconic black leather catsuit, became a symbol of empowerment and style. It embodied the blend of sophistication and toughness that defined her character, making Gale a trailblazer in fashion as well as personality. This attire helped cement her image as a formidable, self-assured woman who could hold her own alongside John Steed. Audiences were captivated not only by her skill, but by her equality with the male protagonist, a pairing that broke new ground for television partnerships. The relationship between Steed and Gale combined elements of flirtation with their shared respect and their ability to challenge each other academically. Their conversational exchanges, which included their ability to maintain equal dialogue, demonstrated a pattern that multiple television partnerships would later use as their standard. The chemistry between the actors transformed the show into a more advanced and interesting spy drama. Gale functioned as more than a sidekick. because her role as a partner allowed her to control the development of stories through her direct involvement in fights. Diana Rigg joined the show in 1965 after Blackman departed, which elevated its female characters through her performance as Emma Peel. Rigg's portrayal of Peel in the film combined her aristocratic beauty with her exceptional intelligence and fighting ability to create a character who possessed multiple dimensions. She demonstrated both athletic power and elegant presence by performing various acts that included saving Steed from danger. The character Peel represented modern women who lived as independent yet complicated individuals throughout their lives. Emma Peel combined intellectual abilities with physical capabilities as she became skilled at fighting and developing strategic plans. The Rigg and McNee partnership carried an electric energy that included hidden romantic elements and their ability to exchange clever dialogue. Their collaboration established itself as a television benchmark for portraying equal gender representation through their combination of fun and serious work. The show used Peel's wider role to present itself as a futuristic and surrealistic experience while keeping its main characters intact. The characters made progress, but their development faced ongoing challenges that existed behind the curtain. Diana Rigg fought for equal pay and greater respect as co-lead through her efforts to succeed in a male-dominated industry that refused to acknowledge her equal status as a female star. Her determination helped secure a better contract, though not without conflict and media attention. This struggle represented a broader social movement, while it demonstrated the difficulties that new television networks must face during their period of development. The series needed to find new ways to keep its audience interested after Linda Thorson stepped into the role of Tara King because the show lost its main attraction, Emma Peel. Tara King appeared younger and more feminine because the show wanted to update its image. The show experienced different responses to this period of change because its main character value system changed, and the show's atmosphere started to vary between different times. The Avengers established its core identity through its strong female leads, who shaped its lasting impact on popular culture. The women established new character types through their actions, which later formed the basis for all future female roles in action and espionage films. The legacy of their work developed through television and film, which now creates female characters that demonstrate both intelligence and strength while sharing equal space with their male counterparts. These groundbreaking roles not only changed on-screen dynamics, but also contributed to the rising tensions behind the scenes, where creative visions and personalities sometimes clashed. A factor that would ultimately affect the show's path forward. Behind-the-scenes tensions. The creative ambitions and evolving identities within the Avengers inevitably led to friction behind the scenes, as the cast and crew navigated the pressures of delivering groundbreaking content. Writers and producers often struggled to balance the show's trademark wit and style with increasing demands for cinematic action and elaborate fight choreography. These artistic conflicts contributed to delays and frustration among the team, highlighting the challenge of sustaining innovation over time. Central to the tensions were the relationships between the cast members, particularly as new female leads joined the series. Honor Blackman and Patrick McNee reportedly had a somewhat frosty dynamic, their contrasting personalities sometimes creating on-set strain. More intense, however, were the creative power struggles involving Diana Rigg, whose growing popularity challenged McNee's established position as the show's central figure. Negotiations over screen time and story emphasis sparked professional rivalries. Diana Rigg's fight for a true partnership role and pay equity underscored gender politics within the production. Initially presented more as a glamorous accessory than a co-equal, Rigg challenged this perception persistently. Her insistence on portraying Emma Peel as a strong, independent character fostered heated discussions with producers reluctant to shift traditional power balances. These negotiations made headlines and ultimately influenced how female characters were framed going forward. Meanwhile, McNee's long tenure as John Steed meant he was deeply attached to the show's direction, and his presence was vital. Yet his desire to maintain central creative control sometimes clashed with the evolving dynamics introduced by new cast members. While both McNee and Rigg managed to maintain mutual professionalism, the underlying tensions were palpable, reflecting broader shifts in television production and star dynamics. The introduction of Linda Thorson as Tara King introduced further difficulties. As a younger and less experienced actress, Thorson faced immense pressure to fill large shoes amid a series already experiencing creative uncertainty. Her portrayal lacked the distinctive charisma and spark of her predecessors, contributing to a decline in perceived quality. The loss of a defining female lead like Emma Peel left a palpable void. The situation became more difficult to handle because external pressures existed while people were trying to manage their personal relationships. The declining ratings, together with network interference, which decreased executive confidence in the show's ability to operate beyond its established limits, created additional pressures. The production team faced ongoing battles between maintaining the Avengers' distinctive style and fulfilling commercial requirements. The industry changes created obstacles, which made it difficult to create an innovative series that would achieve enduring success. Understanding these behind-the-scenes struggles gives vital insight into how the infamous, controversial moment became a tipping point, not just a scandal, but the symptom of deeper fractures within a beloved series. Rise in popularity and style. By the mid-1960s, the Avengers had evolved from a modest crime drama into one of the most stylish and influential television series of its time. Its unique blend of espionage, science fiction elements, sophisticated humor, and striking visuals sets it apart on both sides of the Atlantic. The show's transformation into a cultural phenomenon was marked by bold creative choices and a distinctive British sensibility that captured the imaginations of viewers worldwide. This new identity not only broadened its appeal, but redefined what a spy series could be. The series became synonymous with British cool, thanks in part to the elegant fashion and unmistakable style of its leads. John Steed's tailored suits, bowler hats, and umbrellas embodied a timeless sophistication, while the female leads brought intelligence and strength with wardrobe choices ranging from leather catsuits to haute couture. These visual elements enhanced the show's appeal and became key symbols of its identity. It wasn't just about storytelling. It was about creating an atmosphere of glamour, mixed with thrilling adventure. The excitement of the show increased through the introduction of advanced technology, secret organizations, and strange villains. The episodes created a comic book experience through their combination of unreal elements and suspenseful elements. The show used two different styles to create two different types of entertainment, which included humor and lightheartedness. The production standards reached a high point when the show switched to color broadcasting in 1967, because this change introduced visual elements that enhanced the already cinematic show. The show became popular because of the chemistry between Patrick McNee and his female co-stars, especially Diana Rigg, who played Emma Peel. The audience remained engaged through their dialogues, which included romantic tension and clever humor, and their battle scenes, which showed their fighting skills. The show established a new storytelling style through its unique relationship between the two leads, which built an innovative entertainment experience. The Avengers reached more than 90 countries worldwide. The show became a global success, which brought international fame to its actors. The show established itself as a trendsetter by creating a new type of spy drama that combined suspenseful espionage elements with humorous elements. The show established a new storytelling style that modern series used to create shows like The Prisoner and The Saint. The show established a new storytelling style that modern espionage dramas now use to create their character relationships and storylines. The production needed to create new content because its theme required maintaining its combination of attractive parts, thrilling action, and brainy elements. The writers created conflict between two opposite forces when they tried to create a cheerful atmosphere while developing serious, dark story elements. The show wanted to achieve its goals through boundary-pushing activities, which created rising production demands that affected both the crew and network executives. The series established its main problem when it needed to create new content because of its need to maintain freshness. The Avengers demonstrated a modern British television style that combined humor and suspense to create a new viewing experience that broke away from established genre patterns. The movie served as a main example of the 1960s cultural movement because it combined three elements: fashion, music, and spy activities. The show established a lasting impact on spy fiction and television storytelling, which continues to influence contemporary creators after several decades. Navigating these external pressures ultimately led to decisions that altered the Avengers' fate and the television landscape itself. Network backlash and cancellation. The infamous controversial scene served as a catalyst for a swift and decisive backlash from network executives and regulatory bodies. Independent television, long the bastion of support for the Avengers through its various transformations, suddenly found itself under growing pressure. Advertisers grew wary and tightened broadcasting regulations, especially concerning televised violence and provocative content, prompting a re-evaluation of shows pushing the boundaries of acceptability. The scene in question became a lightning rod for these concerns. This reaction was further intensified by the show's already declining ratings and mounting internal struggles. Executives feared that continuing to air material deemed too dark or unsettling could alienate viewers and provoke public outcry. The combination of creative discord and external scrutiny created a fragile environment. Under such circumstances, the safest course was to pull the contentious episode entirely before it could air widely, effectively censoring a critical piece of the series' narrative. Reports indicate that although some regional audiences may have seen the episode before the ban took full effect, no official copies were preserved or made accessible afterward. The swift removal from syndication erased the episode from the public eye, transforming it into a lost fragment of television history. The controversy surrounding the banned content inevitably deepened the perception that the Avengers was losing its way, troubling longtime fans and critics alike. The show lost its original stylish and intelligent charm because critics said it now relied on shock value and sensationalism to attract viewers. The departure of Diana Rigg and the evolving tone provided fodder for those who saw the series as struggling creatively. The original characteristics that made the Avengers different from all other shows at that time became hidden by public disputes and irregularities that developed throughout the series. The narrative created by the network showed their doubts about the show existing as a profitable product for future use. The consequences of the situation developed into extreme and serious results. The audience numbers kept decreasing, which resulted in diminished trust from advertisers and the network. The perception that the series had become a liability on the schedule sealed its fate. The Avengers show reached its highest point in 1969 before the network canceled the show, which had created a new standard for British television. The New Avengers, which attempted to bring back the franchise during the mid-1970s, failed because everything had already been damaged. The revivals introduced new elements through new characters, which failed to restore the original show's magic. Together with its cultural impact, the legacy faced multiple challenges because of changing audience preferences and budget limitations, and audience expectations kept changing. The Avengers maintained its enduring presence. The lost episode, together with its associated controversy, served as a demonstration of the show's boundary-pushing nature and its operational limitations according to the broadcasting standards of that time. The event started wider conversations about censorship, together with artistic expression, and the difficulties television producers encountered when trying to create new content that would satisfy viewer standards. The story of the Avengers' final years challenges us to consider the complexities behind iconic shows and the fine line between groundbreaking art and broadcast boundaries, legacy, and cultural impact. The Avengers remains one of the most iconic and influential British television series ever produced, despite, perhaps even because of, the controversy surrounding its final years. The show established a new television standard through its combination of espionage elements, clever dialogue, and its distinct visual presentation. The series introduced audiences to three different storytelling methods, which combined cinematic elements with their innovative use of surrealism and their development of complex yet adventurous characters. The show introduced its most groundbreaking element when it showed its intelligent female leads who matched male characters in both intelligence and strength. The characters on the show created new standards for female representation in television, which later inspired many writers and directors to tell their stories. The show maintained its artistic impact on popular culture throughout the period, which continued until its final episode in 1969. The series developed a unique British version of the spy genre through its combination of tense espionage elements with comedic moments and elegant fight sequences. The following shows how this system combines suspenseful moments with witty exchanges and humorous content. The approach became a common feature in television shows that chose to combine suspense with character-focused storytelling. The Avengers demonstrated that spy television shows could achieve high intellectual value, stylish presentation, and entertaining content while maintaining their fundamental characteristics. Internationally, the series reached an exceptional audience because it aired in more than 90 countries and built a dedicated audience worldwide. The film's appeal to different cultures succeeded because it combined elegant storytelling with creative plots and distinctive characters. The global success of British television shows proved that British productions could match international shows and create a worldwide impact on entertainment. The show's legacy also lives on through its stars. Patrick Macnee played the suave agent John Steed throughout his career, which included both film roles and voice work that preserved the character's essence. Honor Blackman and Diana Rigg both achieved major entertainment milestones, which established their historical significance while they maintained the graceful self-assurance they exhibited during the show through their outstanding work. The Avengers remains accessible to new viewers through its retrospective documentaries and home video releases. The series established itself as a landmark of television creative development, which has continued to exist since its final episode. The present-day storytelling shows created with humor and strong characters who experience multiple genre shifts demonstrate that innovative concepts can achieve enduring influence on popular culture. The Avengers story is one of daring creativity, powerful performances, and a stubborn willingness to challenge norms, and a reminder of the costs that can come with pushing boundaries. Its controversial final scene may have sealed its fate, but the show's legacy endures in the worlds of television and spy fiction. If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to like and subscribe for more explorations of iconic media moments.